Going into prison, I just started reading these books and started, educating myself. And then there's other people that were in there that were white collar crime guys who didn't pay the taxes. They made mistakes too, but they were very educated on investing money and in business. And I sat with a couple guys that were on the Chicago Board of Trading. Like, he made some bad trades and he went to prison for it. But he was one of the smartest guys. Like, I was like, holy crap, I'm sitting here with someone that sat on the Chicago Board of Trading. Yes, he made some mistakes by making some bad trades, but he knew, the process of becoming a business owner, or, becoming a businessman.
Welcome to CREPN Radio for influential commercial real estate professionals who work with investors, buyers, and sellers of commercial real estate coast to coast. Whether you're an investor, broker, lender, property manager, attorney, or accountant, we're here to learn from the experts.
Welcome to Commercial Real Estate Pro Network CREPN Radio. Thanks for joining us. My name is J. Darren Gross. This is the podcast focused on commercial real estate investment and risk management strategies. Weekly, we have conversations with commercial real estate investors and professionals who provide their experience and insight to help you grow your real estate portfolio. Today's interview is sponsored by Building Insurance and Risk. When you invest in real estate, it pays to work with a real estate investor protection specialist to protect yourself and your investment from catastrophic loss. The experts at Building Insurance and Risk focus on real estate investor protection. They provide you with multiple insurance coverage offers and a side-by-side coverage comparison. To learn more, go to buildinginsurancerisk.com. Today, my guest is Koliah Fuzzy Jardine. Fuzzy, as he's known, is the co-founder of HUI Mastermind. They empower Native Hawaiians and locals to build generational wealth through real estate investing in their homeland, the Pono Way. And in just a minute, we're going to speak with Fuzzy Jardine about from prison to real estate investor. But first, a quick reminder, if you like our show, CREPN Radio, there are a couple things you can do that helps out. You can like, share, and subscribe. And as always, we encourage you to leave a comment. We love to hear from our listeners. Also, if you want to see how handsome our guests are, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. You can find us on YouTube at Commercial Real Estate Pro Network. And while you're there, please subscribe. With that, I want to welcome my guests. Fuzzy Jardine, welcome to CREPN Radio.
Yeah, mahalo, Darren. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak with your guests. And, whatever you're focusing on is where you're gonna go. So let's see how this conversation goes on my journey, and see if someone can relate, and maybe can help someone that's going down that path, or already went through the path and looking for the light, or someone to help them out. So appreciate.
No, I'm delighted to have you, and again, just looking forward to our conversation. Hey, before we get started, if you could take just a minute and share with the listeners a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I grew up in Hawaii, right? We call it Hawaii. And I grew up with a single mom in this little town called Waimanalo. Also grew up with all my uncles and aunties and my cousins. So under one roof, there was over like 20 people. Hawaii is super expensive, so that's a common thing, right? A lot of people have to pull together, or uh, help each other out to be able to survive here. So everything gets shipped in, and anyhow, I always just noticed my upbringing was just watching everybody work, right? Blue collar workers. Mom worked 2, 3 jobs, but we always had alcohol. Grandfather was an alcoholic, so beers was always in the cooler. I just kind of gravitated towards that way, and then my cousins, my uncles, and I don't know if you guys play horseshoes, but that was the thing, growing up watching my grandfather play horseshoes and drinking, and just kind of went down that path. And but of course, Hawaii is super beautiful, and we're always happy. So a majority of the time, right? We're happy people, so we love to enjoy ourselves because it's beautiful all around us. And um, drugs got involved with my life early on because it just was around my life. The family members that was there, so my path kind of went down that road. So I did do have a positive side where I was always loved the ocean, became a surfer at early age. My mom pushed me in my first wave like at 5 years old, and I was hooked ever since. And I still go to the ocean every chance I get. And but as a surfer, there's also there's a good side of surfers where they don't party, just focus and good guys, and then you got the rascals. Some reason I just gravitated to the rascals, the in crowd, and it just pushed me even further down the path of where I did not need to be. And I eventually through high school and started of course, supplying my habit by selling, right? I ended up selling marijuana and then all the other stuff, and then ended up eventually, um, get into a trouble. Went to like drug rehab because I was on the, getting high, and then, yeah, eventually landed me, into federal prison. But that was kind of my path. I mean, you know, it's kind of a normal, not a normal, it's kind of a common story of locals here in Hawaii, because it's so expensive to live here. And then, working for somebody, um, working for some company for like pennies, and just, I didn't have the right, I guess the mentors I had was my grandfather, my mom. They were never there, like to teach me about, entrepreneurship or how money works, how to invest. They always just, hey, go get a good, go to school, finish school, which I did. I graduated, and then, go get a good job. So those, my teachings. I think a lot of people, that's just how it goes. You either go to college, go get a degree, which most people don't even use after they get it, spend all this money, get loans, get in debt, and then don't even use that degree. But somehow, some way, I'm here today to share this story so that there's another knucklehead like me, fuzzy out there. I know there's other fuzzies out there that it's possible to become successful once you find your why in life. And prison kind of gave me a woke up call, and I know you got more questions about that going forward into this conversation.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you kind of, setting the stage here. I'm curious. You mentioned, kind of the timeline, but I'm just curious. So, you mentioned high school and that. Give me an age. What was the age when you, I guess, you were arrested and then incarcerated and that? How long were you in prison too?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I was 23 when I got arrested, so I was
Okay.
out of high school, but going through high school into my adult age is when I started to get into the heavier drugs. Right after high school, I even got like a scholarship, right, for culinary arts, because that's what the counselor like, oh, you want to be a chef? Cool, let's go down that path. But that wasn't my passion, I guess. Um, Also joined the military to try to get away from the circle that I was in. I was in the army. I joined the army, and yeah, that wasn't for me either. So I just gravitated back to that crowd, that crowd that you know, with drugs and alcohol and partying and traveling and having fun. And it just led me to the path of, getting into this drugs called crystal meth, and that just kind of took me down real quick. My life spiraled fast, and ended up getting caught up with a conspiracy, with intent to distribute the drug, and got 87 months in federal prison because the person that I sold the drug to was an informant that was turned on to me from, a friend. And the day I got arrested, I was in Maui, and I was by the Costco, and it was the day that I everything on my shoulders that I had held down, lifted away because I needed a way out from that life. And I think that was my wake up call, my epiphany to be like, you know what, Fuzzy, wake, wake up, you know. If not, you're gonna be either, dead, or, spend the rest of your life in prison. I didn't know how much time when I got arrested I was looking at, but I knew it was enough time for me to like wake up. So yeah, 87 months. So I did about 6.5 years of that time because federal prison, you do 85% of your time. But it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me because I'm sitting in front of you, a successful real estate developer. I've built over 150 plus homes and counting. I buy land, raw land on the Big Island. I build, spec houses, and I either sell them to families that's here in Hawaii, or I rent them out to like Section 8 families. And I think prison got me, my got me my college degree because go ahead.
No, I just I wanted to ask you. So you're in prison. You said when you got arrested, you kind of recognized there was a kind of a turning point. I'm curious how can you describe in while you were in prison what it was that you thought about, and what was kind of the path, and what led you to real estate?
So I when I was in prison, it's like you had a lot of time to think, right? Yeah. You know, the amount of time that they gave me was is enough time for you to like, okay, do you keep hanging out with the same people, right? Which they're all in, a lot of them are in there that don't learn the lesson, or you gravitate to either, for me, the first thing was, of course, pick up the Bible and started, getting closer to God, but also started gravitating to reading self-help books. I picked up like all of Robert Kiyosaki's books, He's from Hawaii, and then it was like the Rich Dad Poor Dad book just opened up my mind to becoming a businessman or entrepreneur, and being able to use other people's money to make residual income, Residual income for some reason always stuck with me because I was in the, legal pharmaceutical business. So I was entrepreneur already. So I just needed to change the product that I was selling. And I think real estate, because I grew up in Waimanalo, and then eventually we moved to the Big Island. Big Island is the last, I'll say frontier of properties that are still affordable. And I grew up in, a town called Curtistown, where land, you know, is still affordable. And anyway, going into prison, I just started reading these books and started, educating myself. And then there's other people that were in there that were white collar crime guys who didn't pay the taxes, they made mistakes too. But they were very educated on investing money and in business. And I sat with couple guys that were on the Chicago Board of Trading. Like he made some bad trades and he went to prison for it. But he was one of the smartest guys. Like I was like, holy crap, I'm sitting here with someone that sat on the Chicago Board of Trading. Yes, he made some mistakes by making some bad trades, but he knew, the process of becoming a business owner or, becoming a businessman. I sat with people that own what you call gold mines, right? Like I was like crazy, like, and then they knew about the stock market. So I started learning about, the micro and macro economics of how things work. When there's storms, the cornfield, right? And that's how people make money in the in the market. And it just opened my mind by sticking around with these other guys that were, you know, I would say guys that I never grew up with, to be able to kind of mold me into the direction that I needed to go. And then there was a guy named Joel who taught because we had classes in there. You could get, learn a language, which I wish I did. I didn't. I was more focused on, the real estate thing when I got out. But the guy named Joel, there was classes. He taught 101, real estate 101. And he showed us how to do house hacking, which you buy a house, you live in it for 2 years, but during the 2 years you fix it up. And then when you sell it, you don't have to pay capital gains tax, right? And I was like, oh my God, this is what I'm gonna do when I get out. So, but big wake up call, Darren, when I got out. Nobody was teaching, real estate. There was no circles that was around that was local that was willing to share their knowledge. There was more of a scarcity mindset of people in Hawaii. And when I got out, it was a wake up call because when you come out as a felon, you got to go get a job. And a lot of people didn't want to hire me because I had the record. But I was upfront in the beginning. I let them know the first thing. Hey, look, I made a mistake. I went to prison for, drugs, and I'm looking to get a second chance in life. And I went to all these car dealerships, and every single door slammed in my face because I had the record. But it was by chance. The friend that I was locked up with had a window cleaning company, so I was humble enough to go, get a job and start back into, I guess society and be a contributor. And started at $9 an hour. I was in the halfway house and I needed a place to go after a while. So my parents, my mom and my stepdad, let me stay in the home until I could get myself back on my feet. So I got a second job because $9 an hour wasn't cutting it, right? Second job was a surfing instructor. You would like that job. It was awesome because I got to meet people from all over the world, right? Internationally, like they came from everywhere, bro, to learn how to surf from a guy named Fuzzy right in Waikiki Beach.
Yeah.
And then the third job, I got a third job, just to get myself out of my parents' house, as a valet driver. So here I am, still wanting to learn real estate, but I didn't know how. Um, I got three jobs, right? No time. I had no time because I was always busy and then tired too. And I was just thinking to myself, like, this is nuts. Like, I got no time. I got some money, but I want freedom. I want, do what I want to do. Because when I got out, all I wanted to do was surf. The surfing job did that for me, but I got tired because I wasn't surfing. I was teaching people how to surf. So my friend was a pilot, and He was like, bro, go get your pilot license. You work a little bit, you work for a little while, right? Maybe a couple weeks out of the month, and the rest of the month you're off. I'm like, man, that's a great idea. And pilots make good money. So he says, well, the school's like 20 grand or something like that. And I like, okay, I'm gonna go check out the bank and get a loan. So that's what I did. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. So I go to the bank, get the loan. I get qualified because I have a good job, good credit, right? After being out for at least 2 years. I think it was 2 years. Finally, I got the epiphany. Let's do this. So I get the loan, and I get out of the bank, and I'm like, okay, driving. A commercial on the radio station came out, and it was just the right time. It was this company called Fortune Builders, Stan Merle and JD and his team. They're from Connecticut, but I think they live in San Diego now. But they're a real estate coaching program that was coming to Hawaii, that was looking for people to be part of their team. And that was how the commercial went. We find properties, we fix them up, we fund it with other people's money, and we flip them and we make profits. Come check us out. I went, dude, and everything they said, there was some local people that was on there that was doing the deals. They showed the numbers, they showed the properties, how they did it, and they said, we're gonna have a 3-day event where we show everything into detail. I knew they were gonna sell something, but this is what I needed. This was my way to learn from people who were doing it and where I wanted to be too. And this was in 2013. I went into prison. 2000, I got arrested in 2021. Yep, and then I got out um, ending of '07. So when I got out, I was working, and then from 2007 all the way to 2013, that was my gap of building I guess my credit, and um, building back into society. But then once I found Fortune Builders from 2013 till now, it's been an amazing ride because I actually took action on what these coaches and mentors taught me. And I was able to become a successful real estate investor and developer. And now I'm a real estate coach. I took what I learned alongside with my partner. We have a company called the HUI Mastermind. And we teach, people that is from Hawaii or moved away, that's from Hawaii, about how to do what we did.
Got it. So are you still affiliated with the Fortune Builders
Oh
or?
yeah, it's a
Okay.
lifetime. It was lifetime
Okay.
access because I paid 26,000. I never have the money. I borrowed that money, but I knew what they were gonna teach me. I could get that money back after I did my first few deals. All right, and actually, my first deal was brought from another student that was in the circle, and we brought that deal to the coaches. We did a deal with the coaches. Actually, the lady that was living in the house, the other student, he was the caretaker of the property. And he noticed that she was, not doing well. And we ended up giving the lady upfront money, doing a subject to deal with her. I don't know if you guys know what subject to, but it's basically there's a existing mortgage. So we helped give her some money up front, put her in an apartment, fix the place up, flipped it, and then also gave her more money at the back end. So she walked away with quite a bit of money. Plus, I think we bought her like a van, and I made equity. My partner made equity, and the coaches made equity. We leveraged the coaches because they had the money, they had the knowledge, And then we managed the construction side. And then after that, it was like just, you know, I guess what you call it, downhill from there or uphill, whatever way you want to go. It just started my journey. And
Got it. So
yeah.
you got in to and it was a single family flip, was that right?
Yeah, it actually was a
Okay.
property in Kailua,
Okay.
big property. The lady was, frail and just not doing good.
Yeah.
And was the main house was a 3-2, and then there was a back house that was a 2-1. And there was more room to, add more properties on it. So yeah, we ended up making about I made my first deal, made about 12K on that property. So it was split three ways, the coach, the partner, and myself. So yeah, that was a great experience. And then, like I talk about, the Pono Way. That was one way that is like giving back or doing things the right way. Because if that lady, if another investor, there's a lot of there's two sides, right? There's, the investor and then guys that only think about money, right? That lady would have been booted out of her house and who knows where she would have gone.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's quite the journey you had. So you get your first deal, and that was, did I hear the 13? Was it around
so this is
2013?
2014 going into,
2014? Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So end of 2013 going into 2014 is when this opportunity came our way. Through a
Got it.
student, right? I didn't find the deal. Another student brought it to me because I was actually, hanging out with the coaches and helping them out with their business here in Hawaii because they're active, fix and flippers, and they needed a contractor. I'm not licensed, but I knew, my best friend's a general contractor, so I was helping them to fix up their properties. So because I was hanging around with them, other people was bringing deals to me.
Got it. So your experience from that point to this to where we are today in 2026. Tell me a little bit about the properties. Are they primarily fix and flip, or are you breaking ground and building new? Tell me what you've been doing.
Yeah, so during the early stages, they told me to start posting ads on Craigslist. Fuzzy. So I posted Fuzzy buys houses cash. I don't know if you see those signs on the side of the road. I made my own bandit signs, they call it. Fuzzy buys houses cash and posted it all over. And other investors called, you know. So I started networking with other investors. And then on the Craigslist ad, a developer, local developer on the Big Island called me. Hey, you guys buy houses? I'm like, yeah. I didn't have money then, but I knew who had the money or the circle that I was part of had money. So anyway, he shared me his information. It was a new house. He wanted to sell because he wanted to, develop more projects. And I was like, bro, I got, we'll buy it from you. So I presented that opportunity to, or, shared his information with my coaches. And we were going to do the deal, but the developer ended up doing the deal with somebody else. And it was another another guy who had money and was a coach too. And but I kept his number, and I told him, bro, I wanna learn what you're doing. How can I get in? And he was like, well, if you go find me money, we can do a deal. I was like, okay, send me what I need to know. So he sent me his pitch deck, right? His promise, not what you call like a summary of what he does. So I presented it to the group, Facebook group that Fortune Builders had, and right, the money came. Right, I didn't have the money, so the developer had the knowledge. The group I was with had the money. I was just stuck in the middle, like, oh my gosh, yes. So we brought the funds. We created a LLC with the people who had the money, with the developer and myself. My first deal went through. I didn't make much money, and I did not care because I wanted to learn what he was doing, and I was willing to do it for free because eventually I knew I was going to catch on, and I could do it myself. And yeah, we did a couple deals. We're buying properties, 1 acre properties for like $20,000 and building the house for total all in for 165 and selling them for $265,000. So there was like a 80 to 100K split. I mean, profit at the back end on each of these houses. And only after that first, right after that first deal, the way that the developer showed me with a binder of all the receipts, all the subs we were working with, everything step by step, I was like, holy, this is insane. So I kept trying to find more money. I wanted long-term relationship with this guy because we could, he had the team to build these houses at affordable prices. And my goal was to build affordable housing because in Hawaii there's no affordable housing no more. But in the Big Island where we're building, it's probably the most affordable in Hawaii. So he ended up, my hat goes off to him for teaching me this knowledge. I appreciate it. He went his own direction. I went my own, but the money followed me, and I started scaling and met more people with money and just started sharing my what I was doing and yeah, just started scaling and got to where I'm at, building over, like I said, like it keeps adding. I do about 20 plus houses every year. And I buy the land, raw land from either people who want to sell it, and people there's a lot of people that own property in Hawaii that's not from Hawaii, right? And they either get passed on to the kids, and I just buy them from them, and then I build a house, and then I flip it, buy more land, and then keep it going, right? And then I'll keep one or two a year, and I'll rent it out to like HUD families or Section 8 families.
God, I was going to ask you. So you build them, but you're also keeping some, so you have a portfolio of
Yeah,
single family homes.
yes, yeah. So that's what helped me create, like $6 million portfolio of properties that I rent out. A few of the houses I have all equity, right? And that's where I use that for leverage. I use home equity line of credit, or I'll cash out, bring some money out from there to invest in opportunities that come my way. But majority of my like every deal that I do, besides the profits that I make, I just keep rolling it back into the business, right? Like what Robert Kiyosaki says, it's just double down, right? And so I find other people that have money that understand that what I'm doing and how their money's protected, and they keep investing into what my vision is to just keep trying to build affordable housing for people here in Hawaii.
Well, I mean, I've never been to Hawaii. I've always, I mean, I've seen all the pictures and heard about all the beautiful islands and stuff, and I've always heard about how expensive it is. And for you to be building some affordable housing, and helping people that are in Section 8 needs and stuff, I mean, my hats off to you to be able to make it a business model for you, and then also be able to help others. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you,
Great.
man. It's been a journey. Like, in the beginning, we always make mistakes, right? And that's why I knew, like, eventually, I can't take my knowledge with me to the grave. So I wanted to make sure, like, I'm about abundance mindset,
There you go.
right? And there's so much opportunity no matter where you're at. Not even Don't even have to come from live in Hawaii, wherever people
Yeah.
live, like there's opportunity. You just got to learn how to spot them.
So to that, let me ask you, how are and it's HUI, is that the name of the group?
Yeah.
How are the students or the members that have joined that? How are they doing? Are they doing like you did with flips
Yeah. I
and
mean,
finding deals and
yeah. So the ones that are taking action, right? So our HUI Mastermind is a program that, people want to learn real estate. So from, wholesaling all the way to fixing and flipping to brand new builds, to raising capital and finding opportunities. And we're there every week. Right? We have a Thursday call. We bring on guest speakers, and then we have a Tuesday study hall call with our students who actually, are doing deals, and then they took that Tuesday for help to help out other students. So to answer your question, yes, students who took action, like myself, sees results, right? And then
yeah,
there's others who are I would say, need more help, and we're there for them. We can bring them to the water, like you bring the horse to the water, but they gotta drink them.
yeah, yeah.
They
Can't make
gotta
them drink.
drink, yeah. Like we share like we actually, share deals on there. I wholesale deals to the students. We walk through properties that we're in progress, right? And it's really kind of boils down to each person and their why and what they're focusing on.
Yeah,
Whatever, like, when I was saying earlier when I got on the call, what you focusing on today will determine your tomorrow. Like if you just scrolling on your phone when you get home and I'm broke, I can't figure it out. Like, what are you spending your time on?
yeah.
Like
No, and that's so true today. I mean, it's always been the case, but it's the distractions are, 10x right now, and it's a matter of, trying to fight off the distractions, stay focused.
yeah,
That's,
I mean, there's so much things now with AI, right? The
yeah,
artificial intelligence, and there's so much shining lights. Like students will
yeah,
come in, and I noticed this when I joined the Fortune Builders too. Like people spent like even more because there was different levels, right? There was levels below me where you get in like 12 grand and 12,000, but I was at like the platinum point where it was 26 grand. That was stretching it. That was a lot of fear to borrow this money that I never have to, you know, take a risk. Who knows? These guys were con artists or, like, uh, and then there was another level at like 50 grand, right? The inner circle where you get more help. But it's really boils down to shoot taking action of what these coaches or people who already went through the mistakes, and they know exactly what not to do and how to do things the right way.
yeah,
And taking on, the mental will get you there quicker. If you do it yourself, like, man, you're gonna be bumps and bruises, black eye, and you'll catch cracks.
yeah. So just to conclude the journey there, I'm assuming you did not go to the pilot training school. Is that correct? That you
No,
okay. I'm saying that
no.
you started, you got the money, and then you ended up doing the real estate. So it sounds like
Yeah,
it's worked
full
out
like
very well for you. Yeah, that's good.
full turn, right?
Yeah,
Like got out of the bank, got the loan, like, okay, I'm gonna, start this pilot school, and commercial just came on, and it was the right timing.
got it, got it. Hey,
Mhm.
Fuzzy, if I could, I'd like to shift gears here for just a quick second. As I mentioned to you before we get started, by day I'm an insurance broker.
Mhm.
And as such, I like to ask my guests a question about risk, um, and kind of give you kind of the way I view risk. Because when I work with my insurance clients, uh, we try and assess risk and determine what to do with the risk.
Hmm.
And there's three different strategies we typically consider. First, look to see if there's a way we can avoid the risk, and that's not an option. We look to see if there's a way we can minimize the risk. And if we're not able to avoid nor minimize, we look to see if we can transfer the risk. That's what an insurance policy is. It's a risk transfer vehicle. And as such, I like to ask my guests if they can look at their own situation. Could be the interest rates, or investors, or political, whatever it is that you see and identify that you consider to be the biggest risk. And again, for clarification, while I am an insurance broker, I'm not necessarily looking for an insurance related answer. And so if you're willing, I'd like to ask you, Fuzzy Jardine, what is the biggest risk?
Well, in the development space, and what I'm doing today in the Hawaii market, is one of the most expensive markets. Um, is the biggest risk is, I think, not keep doing what I'm doing, right? Investing in real estate, because it's only gonna go up, right? So if you sit on the sidelines and waiting for the interest rates to drop, then it's going to be too late by the time you get started. You can keep waiting, waiting, waiting. So I think that's one of for me as a developer, the biggest risk is, listening to the chatter outside. Like, I'm focusing on, I know what I do best. I know where I need to be buying in at, and I know what my building costs is at, how much well it costs, and then I know my end result. So my biggest, the risk would be not to keep doing what I'm doing. Yeah.
Now, that's well said. If you don't get in the game, you can't not gonna score any runs. You got to get in the game and play. So I like
Yeah.
it.
And another biggest risk is, of course, is like, not being covered or insured. Like as a builder, you gotta have, builder's risk, making sure that all your contractors are licensed and insured. Like if you don't have those, like you can get into a lot of trouble.
Yep.
Yeah.
No doubt. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Hey, Fuzzy, where can the listeners go if they'd like to learn more or connect with you?
Yeah, I mean, you guys can check me out on Instagram. I'm at HIFUZZ. Instagram, I usually post a lot of free education on there. I also wrote a book called Priced Out of Paradise here. It's on Amazon. It's like 99 cents on the Kindle, and then like $20. So you can go check out the book, or we do have a YouTube channel called Investing in Hawaii, where we post everyday stuff, like how to get involved into real estate. We have like podcasts as well. Not as active as you are, but we do the best we can on our channels.
No, it's awesome. Well, Koliah Fuzzy Jardine, I cannot say thanks enough for taking the time to talk today. I've enjoyed learning about you and your story, and look forward to doing it again soon.
All right, thank you, brother. And just one more thing, just what you're doing today will determine you tomorrow. So, start focusing on, what's most important to you. I mean, we all gotta start off with making income by having a job or a career. But does that career or job make you happy? Are you waking up happy every morning to go to that job? And if you're not happy, then what's stopping you? It's between your two head, between your head, your two ears. It's yourself. Like all it takes is just taking action on your goals and your life, and you will start seeing success in your life. So mahalo.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. For our listeners, if you like this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Remember, the more you know, the more you grow. That's all we've got this week. Until next time, thanks for listening to Commercial Real Estate Pro Network's CREPN Radio.
You're listening to CREPN Radio for influential commercial real estate professionals. For more information on this or any of our guests, like us on Facebook, CREPN Radio.